Anthony, this feels like a big deal, but does it escalate? Do we have any idea of who's behind these attacks?
Yeah, good afternoon, Francine. We don't yet have any idea who's behind the attacks. Some UAE officials we've seen coming out saying that they have their ideas, they have their suspicions, and there is a federal investigation going on into the attacks here. The idea is that it would be something with Iran versus Saudi Arabia, Iran versus the UAE, but we don't have any evidence of that. But that's what some of the officials seem to want to point to, and that's the cause of tension in the Gulf. So we'll have to see how that does develop. We do often see kind of low-level incidents here, and we see some saber rattling, which don't and haven't yet, thankfully, escalated to bigger tensions. But that is definitely the risk. That's a geopolitical risk for the region. We're seeing it filter through a little bit into oil, which is up, and the regional stocks, which are down.
Anthony, I'm also looking at the U.S. response, which so far they've deployed an aircraft carrier to the region, bomber planes, and defense missiles. If the U.S. is not the one de-escalating this, who will? Well,
those U.S. assets have been coming into the region since before this incident took place. So the U.S. is sending that carrier group. They were in the Red Sea this weekend on their way to the Persian Gulf. This comes at the same time as well as Trump has put new sanctions on Iran. That's creating tensions in the issue. And the issue really for Iran is their oil sales. President Trump is trying to cut off completely Iran's oil sales. That's their main financial lifeline. And that's what's really interesting and of main interest to them. They need the Strait of Hormuz and the shipping lanes through the Persian Gulf into the Arabian Sea, just like the other countries do. If Iran sees its oil cut off, that shipping lane becomes less interesting to them.
Anthony, I was shocked how close Dubai is to the Strait of Hormuz. It's like 130 miles. I can't remember what the number is right now, but it's a lot closer than we perceive. How linked is the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai with Riyadh? How tight is that relationship?
It's a tight relationship, and it's one that we're seeing ever more tight. They speak a lot about brotherhood among the countries here. They are on the page, on the same page on foreign policy and issues like this. Of course, Saudi Arabia has got a Red Sea coast that puts them a little bit less dependent on the Strait of Hormuz than the UAE is. Jebel Ali, which is the region's biggest commercial port, is here in Dubai. That sits inside the Strait of Hormuz. So any kind of risk to shipping in the region would be a hit to the Dubai economy. Abu Dhabi does have an oil export port outside of the strait, which is at Fujairah, which is where this incident took place. So Fujairah is another export location for Abu Dhabi, but still, it is also quite close to the Strait of Hormuz.